Hello guys, welcome back to Mr. Cloudblue channel. Today is the day 52 of the Kubernetes masterclass and we will talk about what is RBAC, role-based access control and everything in a simple way. And I'm not going to use anything for now. Like I am outside. So that's why I'm not explaining. And in a simple words, I will talk and you can easily understand what is the role-based access control authorization, which is a method of regulating the access to computer or the network resources based on the roles of individual users within your organization. So that is the simple one. But in a simple way, let's say you are in a school. Okay. In the school, there is a library, okay, a teacher's lounge, a cafeteria, and a playground. There are four places. Now, not everyone is allowed to go everywhere. So we have the playground, library, teacher lounge, and cafeteria, right? For example, students can go to the playground and go to the library to borrow the books, okay, but they cannot enter into the teacher's lounge or into the cafeteria, so where people can cook. The students are not allowed. So, and that second point, teachers can go to the teacher's lounge and give you the homework, but they don't go into the cafeteria, right, to kitchen to cook the food. That is the second point. And third one, cooks can prepare the food in the cafeteria, but they do not go into the teacher lounge or into this particular library, right? This is called the roles. Everyone, okay, everyone like students, teachers, cooks has their own job and set of permission. Each permission or the each person only does what they are allowed to or supposed to do. Okay, and the rules make sure everyone plays their part correctly. So now in Kubernetes, there are many things happening under the hood. Okay, think of it's like a super powerful school for the applications Kubernetes. These apps, pods, users, and processor needs to communicate with the Kubernetes brain called the API server to get things done. But not everyone can allow to do everything just like the school. Okay, so one user might just need to look at the what's going on, like reading the notice board in the hallway, and another user might need to edit the things, the create the new resources, right, in the Kubernetes. Meanwhile, another user might only need to delete the things like removing the outdated. Here, how is the role based access control works? Okay, RBAC in Kubernetes define these rules by assigning roles and permissions to the pods or the users on the cluster level as well. Roles define what action like reading, writing, deleting are allowed on certain resources like pods, and deployments are the namespaces. Here student role is can only borrow the books, and the teacher role is only give the test to create the things in a simple way. Students can read only access to the students. Teacher can create the things. Cafeteria can manage and edit the food inventory. So edit the resources. Here role bindings assign these roles to specific peoples or the apps. Think of it's like handing someone a library card with their access rules written on it. Let's say you are managing a Kubernetes cluster for an app and you have to do the following. Okay, so there is a Ajay, which is the ops person, which is the administrator. So he can do everything. So I can get the full access. I have the full role and role binding access, and I will have the access for complete configurations as well. Okay, there is another person, Rom, which is developer. He don't need to edit the resources. Okay, he only needs to create the resources and the pods and check them. What are the logs and everything. So I will create one more role and I will create a role binding for him, and I will tell him to what to see and what not to see. Okay, I will add the resources in the role and I will attach the role binding to particular user using that particular role and the username. So he can only see some specific, okay, what I'm giving the access to that particular only he can see. Other than that, he is not able to see. Even if he try to see, he will get the error. Okay, there is a third person that is Lakshmana, who is a QA person. She only needs to, or he only needs to look at the logs of the pod. So I can give the only read access to the logs only. So the pod logs. I don't need to give the access for the secrets for the developer guy and the QA guy. Only admin can access the remaining all the resources. Okay. So what is RBAC in the Kubernetes? Kubernetes is a system that manages the applications, and to keep the things in order, it needs to control who can do what in the cluster. This is where role-based access control comes in. It's like a set of rules that tells Kubernetes who is making the request, a user or a group or application process. What permission does that person have? And next one, we have to where do these permissions apply? Okay, and the entire named cluster, or the specific namespace like that. So why do we need the rollbacks in the Kubernetes cluster? Without RBAC control, I mean role-based access control, everyone would have the full access to everything in the Kubernetes cluster. Maybe they can delete the production servers. Anyone can do anything accidentally by deleting the resources. Unauthorized users could alter the settings, change the secrets, alter the secrets. Developers have too much of freedom, could break the things. Okay, I have the access, I can do this, I can do that test and everything like that. Okay, sensitive data can be exposed like that. Okay, role-based access control is important because it limits the access based on the roles, giving the users and apps process only the permission they need, nothing more and nothing less. This is how it will works. Roles and role bindings. We will see the simple demo as well. So where we have to use the best practices for the rollback. Follow the principles of least privilege. Separate the roles and environment stages like dev role, staging role, test role, production role like that. Audit and review the RBAC access policies regularly using the auth can I option. That is a command. I will talk about it. Namespace isolation. Combine role-based access control with the Kubernetes namespaces for further isolation. So in summary, to put it, RBAC ensures order, security, and control in your Kubernetes cluster by limiting what user can do based on their role. Without it, your cluster becomes chaotic, insecure, and hard to manage. Okay, be careful designing the roles and role binding, and do give the permissions, and you ensure everyone had everything as the right amount of no or more, no or less. Okay, so this is the simple one. You can understand role-based access control to give the proper access to your developer guy or to the different person. Okay, and if you want to see more, you can use these comments. We will talk about with the examples as well in the demo. Okay, so in simple format I will explain. Try to understand more by trying to reading the particular concept properly. In yesterday we created this, right? kubectl get csr rom, right? Then kubectl get config get context, configuration get hyphen context. Okay, so I have the rom. Yesterday we are not able to get the details, right? Okay, let me use that one. Config use context. We can use that context as well. Rom, enter. See, I moved it to Rom now, and if I see kubectl get pods, it will not work. Nodes as well. So even if you have the access, so it's not possible. Why it's not possible means we have to create the role and role binding to particular ROM to view the all the resources in your Kubernetes cluster. Okay. So what I will do is I will again use the context to move to my main Kubernetes admin, enter. So last time we used these commands, right? So if you go down and we have this create role and role binding, so we just copy this remote. Okay, so just copy this and paste it. See, that is already created, but we need in the format of ROM. I need the role for my ROM. So what I will do is I will just change the name here. Okay, so kubectl create a role. Verb means to create, to get, to list, to update, to delete resources pods. Okay, so it's saying I can get the details, update the details, only giving access to pods. Okay, right? Enter, and you can see that ROM is created. So I can only get the access to resources. You can see that I can create the pods, get the pods, list the pods, update the pods, delete the pods. So here I am mentioning which resources I have to give access. Only to the pods I have to give the access. Okay. See, this is the developer role. I mean the role I am creating for my ROM to give the access to only pods, not to every nodes and everything. Okay, that is the one we need to create the binding as well, role binding. Okay, to which user we have to bind this particular developer role. Okay, so we have to tell what role and to which user we have to bind that particular role. Okay, so what I will do is I will just copy this and come here and I'll paste it. It will change the user name to which user we want, ROM. What is the role we created? ROM. So if you don't know, this is the role we created. Okay, you can see that role ROM, and role here you can use this role binding for ROM. So you can provide any name, developer binding, okay, dev binding, enter. Okay, so that is created, right? So let's see kubectl get pods. Okay, so this is one pod running. Kubectl get roles. Here we have the developer role and the ROM role that we created now. And if you describe kubectl describe role, enter, and we have access to only pods. Okay, so if I edit, okay, kubectl edit role ROM, see, so here I provided the resources, API groups and resources pods, right? So he only able to get the pods details, not other than anything. Okay, nothing is changed. So what I will do is I will see the first config where we are. By default we will on the main master. See, oh sorry, config get contexts. See, so currently I am in the Kubernetes. What I will use, I will change the use context ROM. Okay, ROM, enter. So now I changed again context. You can see that it's moved to ROM. Okay, let's try to see kubectl get nodes for ROM. See, not possible. Let's see the pods. Is able to see or not. See, we created the role and role binding access to ROM with the simple direct command. Okay, this is the access for role based access control. Okay, so I have the user using this particular CSR certificate and I created this particular role and role binding, and I added already config to kubeconfig to yesterday. Okay, so and if you go to here role and role bindings, and we will see more details, okay, using RBAC authentication. Okay, and you can see that, so if you use this particular role, okay, so what is the name for your particular role and everything, this is in the AML format. You can use this format or you can usually directly use this command. Okay, so let me clear this. So I will change the context to for now to the Kubernetes for now. Okay, so you can use this one. Okay, this slide. So this is the AML format to get the details. I mean, like the role we are creating, only get the details for pods here, resources and secrets. This is the another cluster role we creating, role binding. So we have to tell which user and Jane and everything, and what is the role reference. So we have to create the role and role binding. So role binding means we are telling that use that particular role and give that particular role access to this particular user. Okay, here I am creating the role binding, and to which user I am creating the role binding, this particular Jane, and where is the role reference, pod reader. Where is the pod reader is there? Here. So only Jane can read pods details, like what are the pods and what is them and list. Only she can't create the pods, she can delete the pods. Okay, that is the role and role binding. And if you see that there are different here, so there is a secret reader role binding. So here if you see, so this is the secret reader, means she can read the secrets, see, get the secrets, watch the secrets, list the secrets. So to which user they are giving? To the user dev. So this is another role binding. So we can create, so there is a different kind of thing here. See, this is cluster role and this is normal role. See, this is kind is role and this is the cluster role. There are different kinds here. So there are two types of roles, that is cluster and cluster role, and there is a cluster binding as well. See, cluster role binding. So whenever you create a simple role, use the role binding. Whenever you create the cluster role, use the cluster role binding. So okay, that is the difference you can create. You can use this one role and you are giving the access to logs as well. And let's try to see logs. Okay, let me use the context for ROM. Okay, so I changed it, kubectl get pods, only access to pods, right? He have. So I will see kubectl logs nginx. See, not possible because I didn't give the access to particular access. See this resources. Okay, let me try to add this into his role. Okay, so I'll copy this. I will move to Kubernetes administrator again and kubectl edit role rom enter. So pods resources here. I will go to insert mode. Let's see. Okay, log and come out of it. See edited. So the role is edited. Let's use the rom again. So now I gave the access to see the logs. Okay, get pods. So here as rom. Okay, see this is cannot because we are in the same. No problem. Get pods. So kubectl logs nginx. Now let's see. See, I'm able to get the logs because I have access. Okay, this is maybe let's see. So you can maybe ask the question. So which context you are in? Okay, so we can get the context as well using the get context, right? So this is the one. See, presently I'm on ROM and he is able to see the logs now. Last time he is not able to see the logs, right? But I edited the access, I mean the role to give him the access. Okay, let's what I will do is I will go back to Kubernetes first of all. And if you see kubectl auth can I get pods hyphen as rom enter. Yes, see, so you can directly run the commands from the Kubernetes itself, not going into the context but particular user. Okay, so you can create whatever you want here. So and you can see that if you give nodes here, no namespace is scoped for rom. Okay, that is the difference. You can see the logs as well. Okay, see get pods, right? Logs pods as a rom. Okay, kubectl can I get logs pods? Okay, maybe there is a different command I forgot. So okay, no problem. But here this is the one, and you can see that role where we are giving the resources to config name and resource name we can give update and delete. So and if you want to give resources for everything, okay, say rather than referring to individual resources, API groups and everything, you can give every access star. Okay, do not use this role, it is just an example. Okay, super user means admin user. If you provide star and star for resources, and you will get every access. And you can see that cluster role. So you can use these roles. Okay, actually don't need to worry about it. See, API groups is this one, and providing the services, endpoints, and everything. So the role will be different. You can create them and you can use them in this simple format. Try to understand it more, so to which you are giving the access and everything. So API groups, if you want to give the access to different, like see batch and everything, right? Let's see, clear the screen. Kubectl get roles. So we have the developer role and kubectl edit role rom. So here API groups are not there. Okay, see there are no API groups. So if you provide API groups, so it will be different. Okay, see that there is no API groups means it's directly get the nodes. Okay, resources nodes. So what I will do, I will use this and I will come here. I will add a nodes. Let's see is able to get the nodes or not. ROM as a ROM. See, I'm editing the ROM role. See that is done. Kubectl auth can I get nodes hyphen as rom. Yes, see now he's able to get the nodes. Last time rom is not able to use the nodes, right? So if you have everything, you can create this as well. So Ajay, how to create the YAML format? That is also simple for role based and access. So and if you go to here kubectl create role, enter. Okay, see provide -h help. So you are seeing the detailed way, and they have the commands here as well. So you don't need to create a YAML for this one. You can use the direct simple imperative command. That's why I'm not explaining more detailed way. So use this command kubectl create role -h means help. So what is the role name you want? So which role you want? Role, you can provide anything, rom or anything. So verb, like you can give what you want to give the access, to get the access, to edit the access, to see the access, to edit, the delete, create, everything. So you can use comma also instead of providing hyphen hyphen verb multiple times. You can use like this. See, this is simple format. You can use like this. This is for these beginners. So like providing like that. So if you want to give access to multiple, then you can use this. See, pods and pod status and everything. So this is the command for simple one. You don't want to make anything go to the details. Okay, so if you want to create ask you in the exam, you can just provide like this. Okay, resources and everything, that is up to you. Okay, let's create a role binding. You can create the role binding as well using this kubectl create role binding. No need to go to the YAML format there. You can just create the role binding here from itself. Kubectl create role binding admin. So you can create anything, give the name for role binding, and for cluster role you are creating or for normal role, that is up to you. So no need to provide any service account. So that is up to you, because so we are not even talking about the service account for now, and you can use user and everything simply. So no need to provide all these things. These are all simple, actually role based access control. You can use these commands in your CK exam. These are all simple, kubectl create role and everything. So if you come to this means you will understand easily what is the roles and everything. So create the cluster role. So we are giving the access to particular verb and everything. Okay, this is the cluster role. This is the simple role. So this is simple. You can easily understand role by access to control and everything.